Welcome to College Football Week 1 Recap Show. Tonight I'm joined with Jason Jake to talk a little football. I just want to welcome you guys, the listeners, to the show this evening. Jake, how'd your weekend go, man? You enjoy watching college football?
Yeah, it was nice. It was fun to watch football again. Uh, it's just different. It's a different type of vibe, when you wake up and there's football around. You just know you're gonna watch football. And it ended awesome. It was a good ending for LSU, so it was very exciting. And yeah, how'd you guys do? How'd you guys golf this weekend up in you guys watched some football, but I know you guys golfed a lot.
Yeah, we had one of our best bud, Connor Bowen's bachelor party this weekend. Golf 54 holes, played pretty well. Saturday golf 36, so wasn't able to watch much football on Saturday, but was able to catch the late night games. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. Good weekend with the boys, and I'm glad we had this day off because I needed it. So.
Yeah, I agree. Unfortunately, I didn't have the day off, so I had to get my ass up at 6 a.m. to go to work this morning.
Start seeing, buddy.
That sucked.
That sucks.
And Jason, pretty sure you golfed 72 holes. Am I wrong?
Oh no, yeah, we did. Yep, miscounted. Had a surprise 18 yesterday. Got my ass whooped, but it's neither here nor there. So don't have to talk about that.
Nope, we can move on.
Yep, thank you.
Yep. Before we get to the show, I just want to let everybody know that we are running the college football pick'ems again this week, and we will also be starting our NFL pick'ems this week as well. Shout out to Jason's fiance Holly for getting the dub week 1. Congrats to her.
Is it already in the books?
Thank you guys. Thank you guys for helping pay for our wedding. Appreciate you helping us pay for our wedding. So, thank you all.
It's okay. She just donated it right back to the Fantasy Football League.
Yep, absolutely.
All right, let's go ahead.
Low key, she knows a lot. She knows a lot about football. Kind of surprising.
Yeah, she knows how to take a Green Bay Packer right before me too as well.
Yeah, she tends to do that. She kind of hides behind a curtain, comes out and just annihilates everyone.
Silent assassin.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we should get her on the pod instead of Jace or something.
That doesn't really sound good for you, Jace.
Do it. Have her on. We'll have her on as a celeb shot. We'll do that.
Absolutely. All right, let's.
Does Andy making it tonight?
No.
What do you think?
I just didn't know. You know, he made it last week. I didn't know if we were gonna get back-to-back appearances.
Nope. We got to be okay with one appearance a month. That's his quota he has to hit, and he has already.
Technically, we did just start a fresh month, so I didn't know if we were gonna get lucky.
Oh yeah, was that August? Yeah, it was August. Yep. Fuck, he's got to hop in this month at some point. But all right, let's move on. We're gonna talk a little bit of week 1. We're gonna talk about who impressed us, who disappointed, and what's your hottest take and overreaction after week 1 of college football. But before we get to that, I have some words for the pod and the listeners. Okay.
Oh boy.
So Ohio State, Notre Dame, top 5 matchup in Columbus. Ohio State wins 21-10. Okay. The biggest question marks in the offseason for Ohio State was what? Is the defense going to be fixed? They gave up 10 fucking points to a top 5 team. 10 points. Notre Dame had 48 plays of offense. On 6 of those plays, they had 180 yards. The other 42, they had 70 yards. So I'm just gonna drop these stats. I'm just gonna drop this stuff at the beginning. I'm gonna explain why I'm saying it. The second question mark was the offensive line. Who won the game for the offense? The offensive line started leaning on their defensive line and dominated the 3rd and 4th quarters. So the 2 biggest questions for Ohio State were answered. So all the pessimistic, bullshit-ass Ohio State fans and national media need to shove it up their ass because last year, Ohio State loses this game. Ohio State does not win Saturday night. This was last year.
Yeah,
If I were to say on Thursday that Ohio State scores 21 points, do you think they win by double digits? No, not a chance. Okay.
no, but
So that's first. Second, CJ. Nope, I'm gonna go. I'll let you talk at the end. CJ Stroud. How many people I heard say that CJ Stroud looked rattled? Fuck no, he didn't. It's the first game of the year. He lost 2 first-round draft picks last year. His best receiver coming back got hurt beginning of the game. So now he's working with sophomores who they haven't played together in the game besides the Rose Bowl. The chemistry's just not there yet. The dude still completed 70% for 230 and 2 touchdowns. No interceptions. If that's him being rattled and playing a shit game, the nation better watch the fuck out. Because what's coming next, you don't want to miss. All right, national media and the SEC fucking bias
I
that I
never want to
hate.
hear you talk shit about me and me loving the Packers because you are sucking Ohio State's dick so hard right now. But keep going.
Nope, we'll just move on. Next segment. All right,
Jared, keep
Jake,
going now.
Nope. I'm
Keep
not
going.
doing it. I said I wanted my time, and I said you guys to talk afterwards, and you interrupt me. This isn't me sucking Ohio State's dick off. I'm just being a real person right now, and letting you know the facts. Okay, national media. If this was an Alabama team that beat Texas A&M in a top 5 matchup, 24-14, what the fuck would they say? They would say, "Oh my God, look how that defensive battle, Alabama's defense, top-notch shit. They can win when it gets tough. When they get punched in the mouth, they can respond to adversity and win a tough game like that." Ohio State does it. Oh my God, this offense fucking sucks. This offense sucks. They don't have what it takes, and I'm just so sick of that. All I heard today on the podcast I listened to was, "Oh yeah, they're gonna have to drop in the polls. They're gonna have to." What the fuck do you mean? They just won a top 5 matchup by 10 points. Drop in the polls. Okay, yeah, Georgia, yeah, they can probably jump them. But Alabama beats Utah State by 55. Who gives a shit? Put them at number 2 and put Georgia at 1. Drop Alabama to 3. Rankings don't even matter. But the fact that you're going to drop a team for winning a top 5 matchup week 1, no. If it was the SEC team, they would be crowned champions. And lastly, Buckeye fans. I got a chance to watch the game with some Buckeye fans, and this is my last time ever watching a game, I think, around Ohio State fans. I agree with you guys. Ohio State fans are the fucking worst. Okay. Fake ass Ohio State fans are the worst. Ones that are only there to see the games and not know the team and the players. Those fans are the worst. The ones that don't really know football. Those fans are the worst. How many times I was listening to this guy say, "Oh, CJ Stroud keeps staring down his receivers. CJ Stroud keeps staring down his receivers. He doesn't know how to make reads." Fuck that. He was 70% passing. And coach him then, since you're so fucking smart. I just don't get it. Just don't get it. Would you have rather seen a 45-41 win? How would you have felt after that? You'd have felt like shit. You'd have said, "Oh, this is just like last year." But then they win a grinding game, 21-10, using the run game, which people were wondering why they didn't use last year, and the defense stepped up and got stops where it mattered. Like, I don't get it. I don't get it. Ohio State fans just can't be happy with anything. So that's my rant. Whatever you guys got to say, let's hear it.
I don't have anything to say because I think that was real. And I think that was the truth. You're right. If Georgia wins a top 5 matchup by double digits or by 11 points, then it's a defensive battle that they came out on top. Alabama does the same thing. It'd be the same situation. But I think it's just the Big Ten. There's a magnifying glass on the Big Ten, just because the SEC has been known to dominate college football, right? And if the Big Ten isn't able to dominate college football on a national level, then they don't think that there is room for them on the national level. And by obviously the majority of the people, they don't think Ohio State dominated Notre Dame as they expected, right?
Yeah, that's the problem I have.
everybody expected them to, just because
All
there was so
offseason,
much
they were-
attention.
Yeah.
There's so much attention behind Ohio State's offense, right? So everybody was expecting so much. When's the last time that there has been this much attention around Ohio State's offense or around any offense in college football? Right? There wasn't this year. Okay. I mean, yeah, you have Bryce Young, but Alabama didn't have 2 first-round receivers. Georgia had what, 9 defenders drafted last year, right? So their defense was the big thing. There wasn't anything about how good or explosive their offense was supposed to be. Everybody was expecting so much out of Ohio State's offense, right? And the second that they didn't see that, all hell broke loose, right? It's because they put so much expectations on Ohio State and the Big Ten in general, because they need to be able to compete with the national powerhouses down south, which I think is wrong. That's all I gotta say.
Yep, that was my problem. Was I saw multiple people say before the game started, before the season started, that this is going to be a blowout. This is going to be nasty. And those same people after the game, I saw going back in the words saying, "Oh, it doesn't matter. Notre Dame is a good team now. They're a top 5 school for a reason." But before the game started, you guys were going to demolish that top 5 school. So that was my biggest thing. Those people that before the game started, they were very, very high on them, saying that they're going to dominate, they're going to kill them. And then after the game, they were kind of downplaying that, saying that it's Notre Dame and Ohio State's still like the best. That's my problem.
But that wasn't just the fans. That was
No,
America. Vegas had them at a 17.5-point favorite to start.
that's what I'm saying. Like, I just don't like. There's multiple Ohio State people that I know personally that went back on the word, and that's what I don't like.
Well, I'm not really talking to or about the Ohio State fans in particular. I'm talking about everybody else around college football, talking about how good Ohio State is supposed to be. And I still think that they are that good. But just because they don't show it in one game doesn't mean that they don't have it. Their leading receiver, supposed to be their best player, he was out for the game. He got hurt on the first drive, first possession. So that plays a role. And they still won by double digits. I don't know. And don't this is me being real. Like Jared said, I'm not saying this because I secretly love Ohio State. It's because Ohio State's good and they're a good football team and there's a target on their back and there's a national target on their back and everybody knows it. So the one game where they can nitpick everything, they're going to, because nobody down south wants Ohio State to be good. Nobody wants them to be able to compete at the SEC level, which they have been for the last 8 years. So they love picking on them.
One quick thing before we move on. Week 1 last year, Georgia beat Clemson 10-3.
What was that? What was the headline on that the day after? Clemson defense tops Clemson, or Georgia defense tops Clemson.
Georgia's defense. Yeah, they scored on a pick 6. Georgia's defense. And obviously, but week 1 last year, Clemson was probably top 5, right? I would assume. But we all know the season played out and they weren't as good as advertised. And honestly, I was completely wrong about Notre Dame. Watching them play defense, I mean, Marcus Freeman's always been a defensive guy. They brought in Al Golden out of the NFL to be the defensive coordinator. They had a good game plan. I mean, they planned all offseason for Ohio State to stop them. And Ohio State took a couple quarters to get adjusted to not having their best receiver get hurt, or he got hurt in the first quarter. Just took time. I think if there was another quarter, Ohio State probably scores 2 more touchdowns. But they didn't adjust quick enough, and they only scored 3 touchdowns. So I'm optimistic about where the season's going. The biggest question after week 1 for me was the defense, and as of now, that's answered. I feel a lot better about seeing the defense week 1. Could they, the way they played Saturday, would they have beat Georgia or Alabama? Not a chance. Not even close to being able to compete with those teams right now. But we don't got to play those guys yet. So we got 3 months before we have to play a Michigan, a Georgia, Alabama caliber team. So lots to work on. So we'll see what goes. We'll see what happens. I'm just sick of the unrealistic Ohio State fans, the media, the way they have double standards for Big Ten teams in Ohio State. I'm sick of it. So let's move on. All right. Let's Jake, what team or players impressed you the most in the first week?
For me, it's Georgia. I think they had, with how many people they lost in their defense, they're saying that was going to be their biggest question mark. I mean, they lost 15 guys to the NFL in their defense. And it looks like their defense was, damn near the same as dominant against Oregon. I mean, Oregon, this is Bo Nix's first offense, but they're still ranked. They're still electric. But Georgia shut them out. It looked like an NFL defense on there, and their defensive backs are ridiculous. But no, that impressed me. I did not see that coming at all. And then Stetson Bennett, I think he's got a chip on his shoulder. I think, like what I said in the last podcast, they gave so much credit to that defense last year winning the championship. And he still has to make the plays. He's playing all year. There's a reason he beat out JT Daniels. But yeah, I think Stetson Bennett has a chip on his shoulder. That defense is right there with last year's defense. But yeah, Georgia's really good.
Jace, what about you, man?
It pains me to say this, because they really hurt me this weekend in a couple things that I had riding. But I think the most surprising team to me was the Florida Gators. They played a top 10 team, Utah Utes, where Utah, I don't know if a top 10 ranking was the correct ranking, but I do know that they're a good football team. And a lot of people doubted Florida, including us, or including me.
I think I called that one. Upset in the swamp.
I think you did.
I said it was all the environment.
I don't think that the environment had a huge role. I think the biggest factor was Anthony Richardson, their quarterback.
Who's Jace?
What's that? Say that again.
No, what did you say, Jared?
I thought I lost you guys, but we're good.
But yeah, I think the biggest factor was quarterback Anthony Richardson. He was 17 for 24, 168 yards, no touchdowns. Okay. A little questionable, right? On the ground, he had 11 carries, 106 yards, and 3 touchdowns. On the ground. Athletic, can move outside the pocket, can make plays. Maybe his passing is questionable, but all I know is that those guys came out with a chip on their shoulder and they came out to dominate. And we questioned their culture. I think their culture is there. I think the head coach that came in made a statement right away. Obviously, game 1 with a top 10 win. But I don't think there's any question about them anymore. I expect them to be in probably the top 20 rankings next week or this week. I think they're good. I'm interested to see how they go, but they're definitely the biggest surprise for me. That's for sure. Yeah, Anthony Richardson is good, dude.
Yeah, going on kind of what Jay said with the quarterback that surprised him. I kind of wanted to bring this up. Did any of you guys watch Cincinnati versus Arkansas? Or catch any of that? So have you guys
I didn't watch one play.
Have you seen the quarterback for Arkansas? KJ Jefferson?
Yeah, KJ.
So
he's a dog.
He's very good. He's just all around a good quarterback, and he throws a really good ball. He was 18 for 26, 223 yards, 3 touchdowns, and on the ground he carried 18 times for 62 yards and a touchdown. And he's a big boy, but I think he's 6'3", 242 quarterback.
Wow, that's a fucking monster.
He's a lefty. He slings it. But no, yeah. So I saw him and I was watching.
He's a lefty?
I'm pretty sure he's a lefty, but I could be wrong. There might be another quarterback that's kind of like him. But no, yeah, he was just very fun to watch, and he was slinging it around, and I think he's going to be. We could see him in the next level.
Yeah. Well, my team was going to be Florida, but I didn't want to open up wounds for Jay, so I was going to keep them off of my impressive teams.
I appreciate that.
So I went with Oregon State and Jonathan Smith. Oregon State pounded Boise State by 17. 34-17, Oregon State over Boise. I think this guy's changing the culture over there in Corvallis. And honestly, based off what I saw this weekend, the West Coast teams, it's kind of wide open right now. I mean, USC looked good. They played against Rice, though, so not much to say there. Oregon, Utah went down. I think Oregon State has a chance to make some noise in the Pac-12 this year. So look forward to them. They impressed me a lot. I mean, offensively, they were pretty good. Boise's known for having at least a solid defense. So scoring 34 in the opener, that's always a good thing. So looking forward to seeing what Oregon State does the rest of the year. Let's go to the opposite end of the spectrum and talk about teams that left the most to be desired. I'm going to save yours for last, Jake. I'll let Jay start with this one.
I'm going to say Florida State. Florida State went into Death Valley last night, and they took one from LSU.
Yeah, LSU gave it.
It wasn't Death Valley, by the way. It was the Saints Stadium.
Sorry.
It was neutral site in New Orleans.
Yeah, neutral site.
It was the
okay,
same
well,
thing as Georgia's neutral site?
Either way, it was essentially Death Valley too. They went down there and they had control of that game for the majority of the game. And Florida State let them back in it. Okay. But also LSU kind of had they fumbled two punts. Fumbled two punts. But Florida State tried to give it back to them. Okay. But Florida State showed a lot of good stuff. I mean, they ran the ball well. Their quarterback's a dog. And their defense for the majority of the game.
Yeah. I think it's Jared's mic.
What?
Kept LSU on their heels. Was that Jared? Oh my gosh, that was bad.
Yeah.
But anyway, Florida State, they blocked two kicks. They blocked a field goal, and then they blocked an extra point to win the game. All right, so their special teams, they put pressure on LSU with two muffed punts and two blocked field goals. I think that's a good win for them, and it's really exciting to see. But yeah, I'm definitely going to tune into Florida State. I don't know how the ACC is going to be this year. Obviously, Pitt took down Dub V, but I'm interested to see how they do with that this year in the ACC.
That's ironic because my next segment we talk about, I am going to be talking about Florida State. So,
all right.
But team left most desired in the week one was LSU Tigers. What the fuck? What Jason talked about, muffing 2 punts. Brian Kelly looked like he wasn't even the head coach every time you saw him on the sidelines. Did you see the interview he gave after halftime?
No.
He said, I don't think we could have played any worse football in the first half. And he's like, but this is also my first game, so I'm not too sure if that really is the worst we could play. He literally said that.
Wow.
And then he goes, and then the receiver, their stud receiver, Keishawn Booty, was acting like a little bitch in the sidelines because he wasn't getting the ball. So I don't know what the hell is going on with the culture down in Baton Rouge, but doesn't look good. So we're going to see what happens this week with LSU.
Did you see Booty deleted every single photo on Instagram and took LSU football out of his bio?
So did the other receiver, Neighbors, the one that muffed both punts.
Wow. That's all I got to say.
Yep.
Just
Jake,
childish shit.
Go ahead, buddy.
Hey,
no, I want to let's hear Jake.
Hold on. What's the famous line from Remember the Titans? Attitude reflects leadership.
Yep. Well, I gotta say something quick. I saw you know how they do like those parody pages on Twitter and
Yeah.
shit? Like they just like change a letter in somebody's name or whatever, be a fake account. So Brett McMurphy tweet today. Said Keishawn Butte enters transfer portal immediately, blah, blah, blah. Got into a heated exchange with Brian Kelly after the game. He said Butte went on to say that he's sick of this fake ass accent Ed Ogeron coaching his ass. He wants to get the fuck out or something like that. I'm like, at first I didn't know it was a parody. I'm like, holy shit. And then I saw the parody. I'm just like, that could have happened though. That really could have happened.
Could have.
All right, Jake, go ahead. Let's hear about it.
No, I didn't know what do you mean by most desired? I think I was confused on what you meant by that. Because I just
What
put
team left like what team left the most to be desired? Like what team
Ohio-
didn't kind of disappointed you a little bit?
I mean, Ohio State, because I think if from what we've been hearing all off season about their offense, if they actually find it with what defense they have, their defense is a top 5 defense in the nation probably. I mean, their linebackers are NFL linebackers, so that's what they've been missing for a long time. So, I mean, I think they played on offense relatively, I mean, not up to par from what I've been hearing on off season. So if they can be clicking like that on offense, that's a scary team. I'd have to say on that end, Ohio State. I mean, if they get clicking, they're going to be scary because their defense is good.
Yeah. All right. Let's week 1, a lot of overreactions, a lot of hot takes being thrown out there. So let's give ours. And I'll start. I'm gonna go to the game that was played last night. Florida State's gonna win the ACC.
Wow.
Florida State Seminoles are gonna win the ACC.
After watching yesterday,
dominated.
wouldn't surprise me.
I mean, they dominated the game. They had some questionable coaching that was happening. They went forward on 4th down in the first half when they were going to get the ball in the second. Should have just taken the points. Then they get them up put at the end of the game and they're doing tosses on the goal line. Drop the toss. I just think coaching wise, if they tighten that up a little bit, I think this could be a team that wins the ACC. Like what kind of teams are in the ACC that we know that are just studs? NC State was supposed to be one. They squeaked out a win. North Carolina just gave up 40 points in the 4th quarter to an Appalachian State team. Miami beat Bethune-Cookman by like 28. Clemson's playing right now. It was 0-0 last time I checked, and like halfway through the first quarter. Pittsburgh barely beats West Virginia. Like, who's going to win the ACC? Somebody's got to. And if Florida State plays the way they did last night and just tightens a couple things up, I think they very well could. Jake, what about you? What's your hot take?
Hot take for me is Big Ten is not on the same level as SEC. It is far. It is a far gap. The top 2 to 3 in the Big Ten might compete with the top 2 to 3 in the SEC, but then after that, I think it's a big gap. And only team that lost was LSU, and they should have won. So the SEC should have been undefeated. I just think it's different football down there, dude. It's just different bodies, different size. I mean, you have defensive linemen that are 6'4", 6'5", 280, 290, and they're running 4.6s. Like, it's just different breed of guys down there. They're like NFL ready right when they come out of high school. Did you see that tight end for Georgia?
Yes. Scary.
Jace, did you see him?
No.
He's 6'7", 280, tight end, and he runs like a 4.5 40. Just
That's pretty good.
I think he's either a freshman or they have
Sophomore.
They have like 4 tight ends that are sophomores to juniors, and they're all like top 2 in their class respectively coming out of high school. But yeah, I just think the SEC is just NFL style football. It's just good football all the way around.
Why are you letting the national media brainwash you, Jacob?
Not at all. I mean,
Hey,
I'm like a non-biased because I don't really have you know how like Ohio State's not playing their bowl game and Michigan's playing, they're still saying they want the Big Ten to win. I really don't have a conference, and like when I sit back and look at it, the SEC is just different. It's just different football, and that's just really it.
All right, Jace, before you go, let me say something real quick. Because I saw Jake put this on the script, and I knew he was going to say the almost went undefeated thing. So I have something to say about this. the Big Ten went undefeated in games that they didn't play against each other. So every non-conference game the Big Ten played, they won all of them. The only times they lost is when Big Ten played Big Ten. Somebody's got to lose, right? The SEC didn't play one game on the road. Not one game of the non-conference was on the road.
So you're saying that the SEC is not.
I'm with you. I'm just
okay. I just want to.
No. I was just saying because I heard this a bunch today about the only team that lost the SEC was LSU. Like some of the teams that the SEC beat, Ball State, Troy, Elon, Mercer. This is a couple. I mean, I know they got some big wins too, but the Big Ten beat all their non-conference opponents too, besides the conference games, obviously. So I would say yes. I would say Georgia, Alabama are head and shoulders above anybody else in the Big Ten. But the next 4 teams in the Big Ten, I think they could very well compete against 3 through 6 in the SEC very well.
All right. So realistically, if the Big Ten and SEC in football goes like they do in basketball, they have like a football week where they all play each other. How many games would it be? It would be 12 games between the
Probably
two
14,
conferences. 14
13.
games. What do you think? What do you think it would be between the?
I mean, I would say. I mean, it depends who plays who. Like that, matchups matter. Matchups.
Yeah, I know. Yes, okay.
It's all about football as matchups.
Alabama versus Ohio State, Georgia versus Michigan. You could reverse those, but then just kind of going down from the standings from there. I think it. I mean, those first 2 teams, Georgia probably beats Michigan. I mean, Alabama, Ohio State, it just depends on when they play. I mean, beginning of the year, Alabama probably beat them. But, I mean, the bottom 6, 7 teams in the SEC, I think, I mean, they're going to beat Rutgers. They're going to beat Northwestern. They're going to beat Iowa. They're going to beat, I don't know who else is Minnesota. They're going to beat Nebraska.
I think, everyone has this SEC bias that they just think these teams in the bottom are just so good. They're not that good. Like Purdue beat Tennessee in the bowl game last year. Like, I'm not saying the SEC is not good. I'm just saying, like, people just think, oh my God, the SEC, but it's not like that. I think it would honestly be like 8-6, maybe 8-6, 7-7. We're gonna find out. Penn State plays Auburn next week, so I would say those are pretty comparable teams.
Yeah, it's probably middle of the pack teams right there.
Right. So we'll see. Like, I mean, who's the third best in the Big Ten? Probably Wisconsin. Who do they play? Florida. I don't know who the third best is. Florida, you think? As of right now?
Yeah, probably. Kentucky.
I mean, ranking-wise,
Arkansas.
Kentucky.
Yeah, ranking-wise, it's Arkansas. Actually, it's Texas A&M ranking-wise.
Texas A&M.
I think Wisconsin can very well compete with Texas A&M.
I think.
I just think that the SEC has been carried by the top 2 for so long that people just think that everyone else is so good. And I don't think I don't think that's true. But until people from other conferences prove them wrong,
all right,
they can say whatever the hell they want.
Can you guys say this at least? It's SEC, Big Ten, and then a big gap between. I mean, I really don't think there's. I mean, the Big 12 has Oklahoma. Pac-12.
I would say ACC over the Big 12 just based off depth of teams.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's those 2 conferences are definitely the big dogs. And then when they go to a 12-team playoff, they're gonna have 2 to maybe 3 teams a year from this conference.
Right. Yeah. All right, Jace. What's your overreaction, baby? Let's hear it. Something good, something juicy. Give me it.
Iowa's going to win the Big Ten West. After beating South Dakota State.
1940 anymore.
Is your name Jace? Is your name Jace, Jacob?
It was not 1940.
Nope. Your name is Wisconsin Whack Job. All right. When Iowa beat South Dakota State this weekend, 7-3, without scoring a touchdown, they had a field goal and 2 safeties. They beat them 7-3. Their defense is going to stop a lot of Big Ten teams. All right. If they can score 1-2 touchdowns, they're going to win a lot of games. It's hilarious to say, but they're going to win a lot of games with their defense. That's my biggest take. That's my hot take. Iowa, Big Ten West champs. That's my hot take after week 1.
Yeah, I can't jump on that, even if it's a
There was 21 punts in that game.
Hey, that's the punter is going to be MVP,
Oh my
Heisman winner.
gosh, dude.
I mean, they might be going to the NFL now just because of that.
Did you
have
see
so
that
much film.
he had 6 punts down inside the 5 or 5 punts down inside the 5? That's insane. Well, I mean, when you punt probably 10
half his
times.
punts. That's less than half of them still.
Well, yeah. It's pretty good though.
That's hot. That's spicy right there.
I mean, I'm telling you, keep an eye out for them. Their defense is going to win a lot of games. A lot of games. Best defense in the Big Ten.
Okay.
Big
We
Ten
got some
West.
mailbag questions now. Mailbag questions. Let's do a little rapid fire. Okay, I'm gonna ask the questions. Let's go, Jake, Jason, and I'll say my answer at the end. Okay, we'll rapid fire these. First one's from Jeff Johnson. Re-rank Notre Dame.
Still a top 7 team in the nation. They went into the horseshoe. They put up a good fight. That was the quarterback's first start in college. So I think they're a lot better than what people think.
I wouldn't re-rank them. I mean, they finished 5th in the country last year. I'd keep them the same.
I'd probably put them at 7. I'll let Texas A&M and Michigan jump them. Let's go to 7 with Notre Dame, but they're better than I thought they were.
Yeah, they can't drop out of 10 for sure.
All right, next question from Jeff again. Is Utah overrated or is Florida better than we thought?
Like I said in the beginning, that's a tough environment to go into. First game on the road. Utah's good. Florida's good too. Florida's a lot better than what we thought. But yeah, I think it just had to be a tough environment. If that game's at Utah, Utah wins.
I kind of disagree with you, Jacob. I think both. I think Utah's a little bit overrated. I don't think they're as good as what everybody thought they were going to be, but I definitely think Florida is way better than what everybody thought. Yeah, that's all I got.
I agree with you, Jake. I do think that Utah is a very, very good football team.
Hey, by the way, I didn't say that they weren't good.
No, I know.
I didn't say that they weren't good.
You said they're just overrated. You said they're overrated.
I don't think they're overrated at all.
I think that people thought they're better than what they are.
I mean, if you are saying Florida is much better than you thought they were, and Utah goes there, controls the game, and loses in the swamp in humidity by 3, I don't think they can be overrated. I think that's a good ball team. I think those are 2 good ball teams that played football that night. I think Utah very easily could be top 10 in the country at the end of the year. I don't know who they're going to lose to after this.
They definitely have to.
Maybe USC. But I think Utah is honestly, I thought they were rated right where they should be. I just think Florida's a top 15 team based off what I saw that game.
If they played week 10 in Utah, I think it would be a very similar game. I don't think where it was played had a huge impact on the outcome of the game.
All right. So, question, just real quick. So, AP poll preseason, you don't really know yet where people should be ranked, right? So, after we watch week 1, let's just say Florida should have been maybe ranked 14-ish. So, let's say Florida, number 14 in team, Florida wins at home against number 7 by 3. I don't think I think Utah's, I don't know. I don't think they're overrated.
Tough draw. Yeah, tough draw.
So you're just saying that people think that they're overrated because they lost to an unranked team?
Yes.
And do you think that Florida deserved to be ranked?
I'm not saying they should have. I'm just saying based off of one game now that we see the way the teams played, they very well could be a top 15 in the country team in the country based off what we saw.
Yeah, and I'm also basing my thought on Utah after week 1.
That's fair.
So it's just one game, So it's not like that's all I'm basing it off of. It's just what I saw week 1.
I think you have a little bit of hostility with Utah still. I think you need to relax a little bit, Jason.
This is unbiased. I have no hand in the game here. Maybe a little.
But you had some money in the game. You might not have had your hand, but you had some money in the game. All right, move on. I'll let Jason, I want you to start with this one. Was that Cade's last start for Michigan?
Short answer, yes. He played well. He did what he usually does. 160 yards, 1 touchdown. But with Harbaugh putting in JJ, I think that's the decision right there. I mean, he couldn't even give Cade the entire game. After he said last week that he was going to, he didn't. He gave JJ some time. He scored a rushing touchdown. I think that's the last start for Cade.
I agree. Courtesy start, like Jay said before. It's just a different type of team out there with JJ there. More electric. You saw him scamper for the 20-yard touchdown. I think they just roll better. And once he gets acclimated, he's going to get a lot more confident, a lot more comfortable. It's just going to, I think it'd be a lot better. They're going to open up the offense a lot more. And I don't know if you guys saw the one play where he had the little check down pass. When you saw him take off for a sprint, he wanted to go down there and get a block. Like it's a different mentality. He's just a little different. So I think he's going to start the rest of the year.
Yep, I think that was Cade's last start. He'll be playing for a different team next year.
And that's funny you say that, is because somebody brought this to my attention this weekend. He asked me, he posed the question. He said, what quarterback would you be more disappointed in transferring from Michigan, Cade or JJ? And I said, JJ. He said, that's the answer right there. He said, that's how everybody feels. And so if Cade were to leave, good luck. Not saying I have any bad blood with him. I mean, he led Michigan to Final Four. It's just his ceiling is not as high as JJ's.
Yep.
So
and
I think he hit
both
his
have
ceiling.
3 years of eligibility left.
Yep.
Yeah, they have 3 years of eligibility. So, I mean, if they don't make a decision this year, then right back to the drawing board in the offseason, right back to a quarterback battle for the next 2 years. Like,
yeah,
like
and
at
they
this
can't.
point, you just gotta,
They can't afford to do that.
Just have
They
to.
can't afford to do that.
Just pick a guy, hardball, stick with it. Pick JJ. It's better off for your team and for your future of your program. It's an easy decision. All right, let's move on. Rob Auger.
Dude's
hopped in and said,
he's hilarious. He's hilarious.
I think he said, should we disband North Carolina's program after giving up 40 points in the fourth quarter to Appalachian State? I'm going to start with this real quick.
Okay.
They gave up 40 points in the fourth quarter and won. Holy shit. Secondly, these two teams, I'm pretty sure, played in basketball, and the football score was higher. And the over-under was 56. Both these teams scored over 56.
Nice job, Vegas.
Yeah. Got that one wrong, assholes.
Yeah.
That's insane.
That would have been crazy if App would have pulled that off. That would have been 15 years after the heartbreak. We're not going to talk about who it was against. We're not going to talk about it. We're not bringing it up.
You're bringing it up.
I'm just saying it would have been 15 years to the day. That would have been awesome. That would have been very ironic.
Go on. Move on.
Yeah, but no, 40 points and they still lose. But staying with Appalachian State, Jace, have you ever saw their baseball field?
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Okay, yeah. My dad showed me it when I went over to his house. That would be amazing to play at.
It's unbelievable.
It's like just in a forest.
Yep.
It looks awesome, but yeah. No, yeah, 40 points. That's no. North Carolina's probably not going to do too well in the ACC.
App State's baseball field is the nicest thing I'll say about App State. App State lost. They suck. UNC won. Let's move on.
All right, we already talked about the next one. Don Meldon chimed in and said, SEC nearly went undefeated. LSU ruined it. My answer to that is who fucking cares? Jake, go
Actually,
ahead.
it just says who cares.
Well, I wanted to add the F word. I didn't want to type it out. Go ahead.
Yeah. Didn't really know the stats on the Big Ten, other than I knew they played a few like crossover games where Big Ten played Big Ten. But yeah, LSU ruined it. LSU is trash.
Yeah. Who cares? It's week 1. They play FCS schools. I don't care.
Yeah. All right. Next one is from Joe Weisenberger.
Hey, good question, Don.
Yeah. Oh, actually, no, I skipped one. Sorry. Zach Kyle wants to just talk about LSU special teams.
Is it
What is a
the
joke? What
is
a
it
joke.
the LSU Packers out there damn near? I felt like I was watching the Packers. And special teams lost.
Here we go.
There it is.
Every time. Every time.
Actually, I didn't even say that. Someone said that to me. So I didn't. But I'm just saying, like that literally is it. Like you can't rely on it. You think you're getting the ball back with 2 minutes left, and then what happens? Your dude drops the fucking ball. Like what else are you supposed to do? Your defense finally does. They didn't have a 3-and-out all game. All game. They get a 3-and-out. Muff punt. What are they supposed to do? What are they supposed to do?
I'm just surprised we made it 48 fucking minutes before Jake mentioned the Packers. And for that, I'm proud of you.
Hey, do you guys see that I am wearing the jersey because this is the first week of NFL football. NFL football will be this week, just to let you guys know.
Yeah, I mean, 2 muff punts, a blocked field goal, and they got their extra point block to tie the game with 0 seconds on the clock. The special teams is a joke.
Yeah, staying here. Did you guys see NC State? What East Carolina?
Thank God. Almost lost the playoff team week 1. Almost lost the playoff team.
Dude, literally didn't. They score a touchdown and the dude misses the PAT.
Yeah.
And then they
Jason,
got the ball
LSU.
back. They got the ball back and they went down to kick a field goal, and then he missed the field goal too.
Yeah, it was a joke.
Only thing I have to add is LSU special teams suck. Florida State special teams may be the best. Who can disagree with that statement after week 1?
Iowa, pretty good.
Their defense, pretty good. Yep.
The punter.
Yeah. Special teams, they made the field goal. Only offensive points they had. But yeah, LSU special teams look terrible. Absolutely terrible.
Yep, Jay, go ahead.
I have a question because I know we're going to what we're going to next. So when that Iowa punter, when he kicks it off after the safeties, oh no, they get the ball back. Never mind. I was thinking something else. So say if that punter, when they kick it off, does that count as a punt or is that a kickoff?
It's a free kick, or I'm pretty sure it's a kick.
So it doesn't count as a punt for them?
No.
All right.
But, all right, yep. Let's move on to Iowa's punter. Is Iowa's punter their best offensive player?
Well, technically, he would be considered a defensive player because I think special teams is considered defense. But yeah, technically, he's probably the best player on the field.
I mean, he definitely put the most pressure on South Dakota
100. Yeah.
State. South Dakota State definitely put the most pressure on him.
So
no other player.
Do you think they just at practice they just practice that? I mean, they can't practice hitches because they can't complete passes, so they might as well just practice downing the ball inside the 5.
Well, I mean, the punter doesn't even have to practice. He gets his practice in the games. Punted freaking 10 plus times.
Yep, I'm envisioning
He's just
Iowa's
good.
practice to be 2 straight hours of punting to drop it inside the 5. That's all they do all day for practice.
And then their the other 2 hours is just on the goal line. We're gonna get a safety.
Yep, that's their off. So technically, he is the best offensive player. He starts him at the 45 and drops him to the 5. He's a 40-yard gain for him.
Yep, every time.
And then after that, they score a touchdown on the goal line, or 2 points. Sorry, they didn't score a touchdown. I apologize. All right, next question. I'm not going to waste my time even answering, so I'll let you guys talk about it. How mediocre is Ohio State from Chris Tucker?
I don't think they're mediocre. I just think they have some answers, questions to answer on the offensive side, and I think their defense is a lot better than what people thought, and then a lot better than the past years. But yeah, I think they're definitely not mediocre, and I don't think Notre Dame's as bad as what people thought.
Yeah, I don't think Ohio State's mediocre at all. I mean, the
But I
first
love
game
it.
of the
I love
year,
the question, Chris. I love the question.
first game of the year, first couple weeks of the year, Ohio State is never the same team as they are week 11 and past week 12. They're never the same. They always get better. I mean, the fact that they won a top 5 matchup by double digits, I think that's a plus. I don't think they're mediocre at all.
Yep.
Jared, what do you got to
No
say?
worse.
What do you got to say?
I got nothing.
I got
Not
one thing.
mediocre,
To
Yes, you
say.
do.
they're not.
I got one thing to say.
If anything, they're a better, well-rounded team this year than they were last year. So, in that aspect, they got better. The offense is going to come around. I mean, that's.
I was going to say, I
facts.
wouldn't worry about that.
I'm
There's
not worried
playmakers.
one bit about the offense. Not one
Playmakers
bit.
are going to make plays. That's just how it is. And they have the playmakers. They have the people to win ball games on offense. And if their defense can keep them in games like they're going to, like they showed week 1, the offense is going to prevail always because they're that good.
All right, well, that wraps up the week 1 show. Wednesday will be the next episode. I have a good buddy of all of ours, Joel Mass, hopping on to do some guest picking.
All right.
Hopefully this week it goes a little bit better for us in that aspect.
Question.
Don't forget to check us out on YouTube. Check us out on Spotify, Anchor, all the above. You guys have anything else to say? You want to add to the episode? Anything you want to say before we head out, Jake?
So you know how this last week we did the picks for college football. Are we gonna be doing some NFL picks next week on the show, or is it just college football?
We can do some quick ones at the end of the show.
All right, just like our teams and stuff, and then like big games.
But not the
We can do
Packers.
that.
Yeah, well, I mean, it doesn't really matter because we all know what I'm gonna say every week for the Packers, so we're not really gassing up anything over
So
here.
you're an unrealistic Packers fan.
No, I'm very confident. No, I'm honest. We're gonna be 11-6, 12-5 this year. We're gonna win the division. Our division dog shit. I think a lot of it has to do with week 1. We got the Vikings week 1, so we're gonna learn a lot about the division there.
Kirk C, baby. Kirk C all day.
Who?
Kirk.
Oh. The only thing that dude knows how to do is get a bag.
Hey, let's go. That's what it
That's
takes
facts.
sometimes. Jason, anything you want to add? Anything you want to add? Any insightful words? Any motivation to lead us into the work week starting tomorrow?
Go get them. I believe in you. That's all I got.
I got some words for y'all. Listen. Make sure you guys listen to understand. Don't listen to respond, okay? So when you guys are listening to people talk, just listen to understand what they're saying. Don't listen just because you want to respond to them right away. Actually listen to what they're saying.
I know someone that could take that advice.
I know, Jared.
All right.
I can't believe those words just came out of your mouth, Jacob.
Well, no, Aaron Rodgers said a few days ago on the podcast.
Oh my God. There we go, Packers again.
Wise word right here. If you're gonna be a bear, be a fucking grizzly.
Who
So
said that one?
I think that's what Jace chews is grizzly, so he's a grizzly bear.
No, I don't do that.
No, you're not a grizzly.
No,
right.
I don't chew.
We're getting off topic here. We'll see you guys Wednesday. NFL starts Thursday, so let's fucking rock and roll. A little NFL college football this
Super Bowl's
week.
Thursday, right?
The Super Bowl is going to be played prematurely before the year starts. Yes, this year.
I mean, this basically could be the Super Bowl matchup.
Yeah.
Bills Rams.
I agree.
Let's go.
Bills Rams. Yep. All right. Anything else, guys?
No, I hope you guys have a great week.
All right.
Go Blue.
Adios, y'all. We'll see you guys on Wednesday.
Go Pat, go.